You're watching CAD Roll Hunter, and it's hard not to get excited when a box of dimes crosses your desk. Stay tuned! I love cracking into a fresh box of coins, and dimes are exciting because we might find silver. I get my best luck finding silver in dimes. I've got as many as 8 silver dimes in a box before. I've gotten that a couple of times. I've gotten 6 a couple of times before. And often I'll get at least one. And that's what we want to see. And what we also want to see is customer wrapped rolls. So this means we've got a chance at getting something that is silver. If we get mint wrapped or machine wrapped rolls, those aren't good. Mint wrapped rolls are of course going to be brand new. Machine wrapped rolls are subject to Canada's alloy recovery program. The mint basically takes all of the coins, takes out anything valuable, any silver, even any nickel composed dimes, which means that we're not going to get anything old at all. This is what we're looking for. We want to dive in. My last box wasn't great. We found a couple of limited edition 2021 Blue Nose. We could find colorized dimes. It's only happened once in the 2021s, those Blue Nose under sale, but we want to find some silver. We want to get in here. We're going to get into this first roll. We're going to see how we do, and that's a good sign. We've got an older bust of Queen Elizabeth, so it means we've got circulated coins, and it means we've got a chance to find some older stuff, not alloy recovery. So let's get into them. Well, we're going to have a find in our very first roll, and it's going to be one of those Blue Nose under sale that I just mentioned. This is that 2021 Commemorative, the 100 years of the Blue Nose schooner. One of my favorite coins. That water just looks like it's really moving. Awesome coin. Good start. Roll number 3 here is another Blue Nose Commemorative from 2021. When these came out, we weren't sure if they were going to be low mintage. Turns out they're pretty common, so I don't hold on to these anymore. This is a pretty nice example, even though it's a few years old. The one we really want to find is the single date 2021 Blue Nose, the one that just looks like every other Blue Nose dime. The obverse will be exactly the same as that, but it just says the single date. It doesn't have the 1921 on the left-hand side. Those ones are really hard to come by. They were only issued in sets. If you find it in circulation, hold onto it. Just in roll number 4 here, and I threw a pretty beat up coin, a 1969 dime under the scope. You can see it's all scraped up and gouged, but every single 1969 you want to take a look at. This is the normal 69. This is known as the small date. Basically really small figures here. The 1968 dime had big box numbers. Well, there is a 1969 dime that has the same kind of big box numbers that says 1969, not 1968. And there are only a handful of those that are known, and it is worth thousands of dollars. So you'll want to scope every time. I know of somebody who found one just this last year. Crazy. I'm not sure that I quite believed it at first, but I've seen evidence and it is pretty incredible, but nobody's really looking. Well, I should say not nobody. A lot of people, most people aren't looking very closely at their pocket change. But if you're looking closely and you find a 1969 that looks like a 1968, you've just hit the jackpot, my friend. Still in roll number 4. Every once in a while, I'll get a comment from somebody saying, I found this Canadian dime. It doesn't have a date on it. It's crazy. What is it? Well, if you don't see a date on your dime, flip it over. It's going to be a 2002. This one actually has a double date, 1952 to 2002. This was commemorating Queen Elizabeth's 50th anniversary on the throne. And for whatever reason, they put that commemorative memorial date on the obverse. And so on the reverse that we normally look at with the Blue Nose, it looks like it was an error, but that's not the case. Well, there's a 1968 with those block numbers that I was talking about. If that 8 was a 9 that looked just like that, well, I don't even want to think about it. I'm getting too excited about it. Roll number 14, slow going so far. Just our second find. It's another of the non-color Blue Nose under sale from 2021. We're in roll 17. We've got a 1968 here. It's not a 1969 large date, definitely 68, but that's a transition year. They switched from 50% silver to pure nickel. And the only way to really tell them apart, well, you can tell them apart by looking at them, but if you're not sure, you just want to get a magnet. I've got one here. If it sticks, it's nickel. If it doesn't stick, you've got a silver dime, and that's what we're looking for often when we're coin roll hunting dimes. So we want to find one that doesn't stick to that magnet. Just the very end of that roll, and we're going to get our first colorized dime. That is a 2021. That's the world's first colorized circulating dime. Very cool. And we did it here in Canada. That's a great find. We've got a few things now. Can we find some silver in this here box of customer wrapped rolls? That's what we want to find. Roll number 19. There's a cool commemorative from 2017. This was the 150th anniversary of Confederation, and it is a bird, but you'll note that the wings of the bird is really a stylized maple leaf. That's a cool coin to find, absolutely. It's called Wings of Peace. So things are going a little bit slow. Let's just take a look at something I picked up. I'm always going to my antique dealer in town asking if he's got lots of coins. Sometimes he's got boxes of them, and sometimes he's just got a little pouch. So I was in a little while ago, and he said, oh, I got a little something here for you. And this is it. There's a couple of little flips in here. So we'll look at those, and then really just some loose coins. So let's dump this out and take a peek at what I got here. I don't remember what I paid for this. I don't think I paid much of anything, like the whole thing, like maybe a few dollars. I don't know, but there we go. We've dumped them out. We got a whole bunch of 1940s victory nickels. They minted these in 1944 and 1945. You can see some of the dates there. Well, let's sort those out first, and then we'll look at these guys. I'll see what we got in here. Okay, interesting. There were 32 of these victory nickels, and 30 of them were from 1945, and only 2 of them were from 1944. And these are actually in pretty decent shape, like circulated condition for sure. And I just threw down the one that I wanted to show you. This might be the nicest one right here, 1945. You can see it's got a few little marks. These ones very commonly are subject to rust. There's a very, very thin layer of chromium on here. Otherwise, they're steel. And if they get chipped like these ones did pretty easily, if they get wet or even just high humidity, they'll start to rust. And there really aren't any in here that are rusting. Maybe like a little bit there you can see on the 1.5. But otherwise, they're in pretty decent circulated condition, and actually lots of detail on the hair of King George VI there. So that's really cool. So these are really hard to come by. They look different than other coins. Even people who aren't collectors might pull these out because they look different. So we don't find these coin roll hunting very often. I've found a few for sure. So it's always cool to get a little lot of these. I'll roll these up with all of my 1940s nickels. Next, we'll take a look at these guys and see what we got. All right, well, even if we don't find any silver in this box of dimes, we're going to get some silver in the video because all 3 of these coins are silver. This first one here is 3 pence from 1918 from England. And there's King George V on there. Yeah, that would make sense. 1918. So King George V, it's a different portrait than we have here in Canada. The British coin here, we have King George with all of his regalia, and we don't really hear. So that's really cool. That is probably sterling silver. And then these next 2 are both 0.835 silver, and they're both from this one's from 1954, both from Venezuela. 10 centime. I'll flip it over. Bolivar Libertador. And then this one here is 1 Bolivar. 835 silver. Somebody's written on this flip, 1960. And it's basically got the same obverse. So that's really cool. Always cool to get some foreign silver. These are not the kinds of thing I expect to ever find coin roll hunting in Canada. But to get them in a little change purse that somebody brought into an antique shop and sold, that I got for a pretty good deal, is pretty cool. So there's some silver for you. We'll cross our fingers. Maybe we'll get silver in this box of dimes. If not, there's your silver. All right, let's get back to the hunt. So we're 25 rolls in, the halfway point of this box, and so far it's been pretty light. We've got so far 4 commemoratives from 2021, 1 colorized one, but no foreigns, no silver, not even any American dimes, which would be pretty common here. In a box of dimes, I might get as many as a full roll or close to it typically. So nothing like that here, but there are lots of people who like pull American change out because it's worth a premium and maybe they travel to the States. And we don't know how many customers these rolls would have come from if it was one or many. So we're only halfway through. You just never know what's going to be in here until you get through all the rolls. So we're going to keep on keeping on and hopefully we'll find some goodies. Roll number 32, and the very first thing I do when I open a roll is do an edge check. Look to see if I can see any variation in color, usually because I want to see silver. This time around, I can see here that we're going to get our very first American, only 32 rolls in, which is a little bit unusual. Not unusual to find American coins. It's just unusual to go this far without finding any at all. Well, we'll take a look and see what else there might be in here, and we'll figure out what that American is. So far, a lot of older stuff in here, 70s and 80s as I'm going through. So, I mean, maybe we'll find a little bit of silver sneaking in one of these rolls. Who knows? We'll find out. And that lone US dime is going to be a 1990 out of Philadelphia. Roll number 33, that is our fourth non-color blue nose under sale. Roll 39, still no silver. This is our fifth blue nose under sale. Roll 40, and we're going to have a legitimate find here. Here's a 1972, and it is just beautiful. Look at those fields. We'll flip it over, and there is Queen Elizabeth. This one looks gorgeous, so we're going to set that one aside for sure. That's a beautiful one. Roll number 45, and we've got one that is standing out, and it might just be a little bit discolored. I've had a couple in the last couple rolls that looked like they were like smoke damaged, or somebody might have just hit them with a lighter. But we'll put this one down and we'll take a peek. It doesn't exactly look like it's silver, and it is, what do we got here? And yeah, it is. It's not an old coin, but look at the surface of this. I want to put this under the scope because there's something curious about this guy. And I've seen something like this before, I think, but I want to get a closer look. Here it is under the scope, and this looks to be a uncirculated 2020. If you look at it, the fields are flawless, but it is very dull. If I look at the other side, it has the same sort of effect. And I wonder, I think this could be a mint error. These modern Canadian coins are multiply plated steel, and they have a layer of nickel that's applied to it. It's very, very thin. I'll see if I can find the specifications on that. But I wonder if this is a coin that didn't get that last layer of nickel. It's missing that last ply in the process. And you can see it looks like it's got like lines on the surface of the coin, so to speak, like as though it's like from the manufacturing process. But it should be bright, 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 shiny. And I'll see if I can find another bright, shiny option here. Well, here is this guy right here that we would have seen. It should have a bright shine to it. I'll put this one under the scope too. Of course, under the microscope, this one isn't quite a great coin, but this one here just looks very flat. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a mint error? Have you seen this before? If you're a coin roll hunter in Canada, have you seen a coin that is missing the nickel layer? In the States, I know they've got coins that might be missing the clad layer as well and have a dark sort of coppery color. I wonder if this is sort of the Canadian equivalent of that. Very cool. I'm going to hold this one aside because this is, I think, an interesting find. It might very well be a mint error. Here's a 2019 from that same roll that clearly is really bright and shiny. That last coin missing that completely. Roll number 47, we're getting towards the end. We got another nice one here from the 90s. This one's a 1994. Might take a look and see if this might be an upgrader in my album. It is close to uncirculated, maybe a low mint state. And yeah, looks nice. We don't often find them in nice shape like that. Roll number 50, edge check. It looks like we're going to be skunked for silver in this box. That's the thing with dimes, with Canadian coins for sure. You can't be guaranteed silver. In fact, you're probably not going to find silver. But this box, yeah, this is what you should probably expect. I've had great luck with silver in the past, but anytime you find a silver, you got to count yourself lucky. So 50 rolls of dimes hunted, and it was a pretty light box, absolutely. We only got one foreign, it was a US. We usually get a lot more than that. Our finds here, we got 5 of the 2021 Blue Nose Under Sale non-color and 1 lone colored version, but anytime you can find a colorized coin, especially a dime, that's pretty cool. We found a couple that were in better than average condition, one from the 70s and one from the 90s, so that's pretty cool. But I think the find of this hunt, the one that kind of made it worthwhile, sometimes you just take a box and you go through it and it's a bit of a throwaway, well, was this 2020. I think we've got a legitimate mint error. I think this is missing the nickel layer of that multiply plated steel process. So let me know what you think. If you agree with that assessment, I'm definitely going to hold on to this one. And I have found a couple of other varieties like this. I found a nickel in the past. I found a quarter. I think I may have also found a dime that exhibit the same kind of coloring and characteristics that seem to be, doesn't look like it's treated or dipped or anything like that. I think this is just missing that layer. Well, despite the lack of silver and other finds, I hope you enjoyed this video anyhow. This is a really honest look at what coin roll hunting is like. If you are just getting into the hobby, don't just watch videos where people pull out all sorts of silver and think that's what every box is going to be like. That is just not true. For every really good box I get, there's probably 3 really bad boxes. In fact, if you want to know what coin roll hunting dimes is like in Canada, watch all of my dime videos in order, because every box I hunt, I put a video out on it. So since I started the channel, that's what I've done. So you can see what a relative sample is from my area. I'm in southwestern Ontario, what it actually looks like. You're going to find some good boxes. You're going to find some bad boxes. Sometimes you'll just find a box with average circulating coins with maybe a little bit of a gem or something we did not expect. Well, if you did enjoy the video, please give the video a thumbs up, a like, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, CAD Roll Hunter, please hit that button now and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully next time we'll find something really cool and interesting. Well, stay tuned. You'll see if that happens. Take care, and we'll see you then. The sponsors of today's video are Lighthouse Canada and the Charlton Press. Lighthouse Canada is the leading supplier of high-quality numismatic supplies in Canada, and the Charlton Press is the leading publisher of coin and paper money catalogs and price guides for Canadian collectors. Go check out their online stores today and use the exclusive discount code CRH20 for 20% off all your purchases.